Feels like every day we talk to each other, huh? Just me and you in the room alone. Feels nice, doesn't it? People are going to start talking if we keep this up. But I'm not here to talk about our looming and blooming lovely relationship that we have coalesced inside of each other's hearts and souls. I'm here to talk about the government shutdown at the current moment because we got to listen up, Buttercup. This is very important. This is the U.S. government facing shutdown, 100,000 federal resignations on fiscal year eve. I don't know what fiscal year eve means. I'm not going to lie to you here. It sounds like a horrible holiday. But over 100,000 federal civilian workers are submitting resignations on September 30th under President Donald Trump's deferred resignation program, the largest single-day exodus in U.S. history, which is, we're making U.S. history, which is outstanding, and I can't really hate that in any capacity. As agencies prepare for potential disruptions, Congress is racing to pass funding before midnight, but Senate Democrats block a Republican continuing resolution demanding restoration of Medicaid and Affordable Care Act cuts made earlier in the year. Republicans accuse Democrats of endangering services like Social Security and national parks, while Democrats hold Republicans responsible for the standoff and warn of coverage losses for millions of Americans. So, as usual, the people at the top are playing with our lives, which is really nice. I love it. And government shutdown really doesn't mean that much to me because I still would have to go to work regardless. Now I'm off the rest of this month, but still, when I get done with this vacation month, I'm going right back to work essentially. And everybody's saying 100 federal employees are resigning today because of Donald Trump. This is crazy. This is so nuts. This is psychotic. Now, what does this mean in implications? So, how much is the average person in the government getting paid? How much is the average wage of a federal worker? Average federal worker employee salary. Let's look at that. So we're looking at somewhere around, now we'll just use the AI overview, 50,000 to 100,000. That's what we're seeing, 50,000 to 100,000. That's what we see. Half of all federal workers and 3% of employees are in 200,000 or more. So let's highball it here. Let's say everybody that is a federal government employee is making $100,000. Let's just say that, even 50,000. So 100,000 times 100,000 is 10 billion. 100,000 times 50,000 is 5 billion. That's just math. That's just how it works. You can even see right here. I know you don't know this number. Probably haven't seen it in your life. Neither have I. This is 10 billion. That's what it is. Easy number. Easy to comprehend. So everybody keeps saying, but they just spent 200 million. And this is the thing, 200 million on the White House $1 million structure. And I agree. That is an exorbitant amount of money. But it is poultry to the 10 billion. Now, a lot of people are saying this is good. People are saying, this is deferred resignation. So it's basically a buyout program. Employees are offered incentives and financial packages to resign, and sometimes while continuing to receive pay and benefits during the deferred period. So there's really not an issue because, they're still getting paid. This will actually clear up a lot of things. My issue, and this is just annoying to me, is people don't see what this actually is. It's people. It's more than 100,000 federal workers being pushed out of their jobs. It's draining the swamp is what they call it. They say it's a lot of fluff here, a lot of nonsense. We need to regulate it and get it down to a few people, which is, for the most part, I can partially agree because there's always 50 people and all these differing opinions and all these things. It feels good to get a few people out of there. 100,000 is a big number. I didn't even know there were that many. I'm not even going to lie to you. I didn't know there were that much. This is all news to me. Everything I'm reading is news to me. But they are people, and they do need jobs. Imagine if every McDonald's employee just walked out. By God, they'd be replaced by AI the next day. But still, they aren't faceless bureaucrats. They are meteorologists at NOAA who track hurricanes. That's a federal worker, by the way. They're the scientists at the FDA who inspect food and drugs. That's the workers. The analysts at NASA who crunch decades of research. Those are the workers. Those are federal employees. I know this now because I've done my research, and thus I am now even more terrified upon learning this because I didn't know that. I had no idea this is what they were getting rid of. Had no idea. No clue. I understand why they're paid so much now because they're making sure everything's fine. I don't know if you remember when that flood swept through that camp and took out all those people. I believe it was in some southern state. I don't remember the exact situation of it, but if we can't track hurricanes, if we can't figure out about the FDA to figure out what's going on there, we need people. You know what they're going to do? They're going to defer those to AI. That's what's going to happen. And Trump is bragging about slashing them. What's happening is that he thinks he's cutting waste, but he's cutting the muscle and bone of an infrastructure of what we need. The White House is just spinning this as saying, it's a deferred resignation program. It's indentured servitude. You know how they like to change phrasing and things of that variety. It's not some fancy voluntary plan. This is a purge. This is a deep purge. People are being encouraged to resign with payouts or pressured out by a hostile environment. It's not really voluntary when the culture is toxic. When your job is meaningless, that's what they're telling you. It said your job is meaningless. Why do we need to do the FDA? Why do we need to do hurricanes? That's worthless. That's just that's woke garbage. When your agency is frozen from hiring anyone new, that's coercion. That's coercion. That's a mafia tactic. The timing is just really weirdly brutal. This isn't some gradual thinning over decades. This is tens of thousands leaving at once, right before a budget fight, right before a possible shutdown. This is manufacturing deep chaos. When the exits are this big, you don't just lose warm bodies. You lose institutional memory. That's what you're losing. You lose the kind of expertise that takes decades to build. This knowledge isn't coming back in a year. It's gone forever. These people have been there for a while. I'll phrase it like this. Have you been at a job for a long time and you know things that newer employees are never going to know? Like just things that make it run better because you feel like, I know this, I've done this for a while. I know exactly I don't need to do these things. I don't need to do this regulatory. It's as if you're a chef that's been doing something for 20 years and you know how it works. It's not really going to change that much because you understand how the new things would come in. You grasp new ingredients. You know how to utilize them efficiently. You got it. Imagine losing that chef and getting replaced by a bunch of people that just got out of culinary school. That's what it is. Or people that have an entirely different recipe. Instead of a 3-star Michelin chef, you end up getting a fast food worker. That's what's happening here. I know it seems like a drastic comparison, but that's basically what's happening. You know what happens when you wipe out that much talent at once? It creates power vacuums. And nature hates vacuums. Guess who fills them? Loyalists, political appointees, people like RFK Jr., like those people that aren't really qualified for science stuff, basically people that just think they know science, but not really because they watched some 4chan video or they were on 8chan. Oh my goodness, 2 times more than 4chan. These kinds of people who don't know the job, but know how to say, yes, sir. We're going to see greater numbers because people are going to be lying. And then after 4 years, and come back to this video in 4 years, because after 4 years, we're going to see, these new employees have been lying the entire time. You can quote me on that because that's what's going to happen. If this goes through, that's what's going to happen. That's how authoritarian systems grow. They don't build new institutions. They hollow out the old ones and install puppets. The administration is hiding behind money. They say it saves costs, cuts red tape, shrinks waste, but look closer. Look closer. It's not about saving a dime. It's about consolidating control. Every time you reduce staffing, you reduce oversight. Every time you eliminate career employees, you eliminate people who might blow the whistle or resist legal orders. That's not efficiency. It's not. You are engineering a deep silence within yourself. It's disgusting. People who get hurt the most are us, ordinary people. It's not Trump, it's us. It's farmers who don't get crop insurance processed on time. It's veterans waiting longer for benefits. It's communities who don't get advice, warnings for storms. That's what it is. That's what's going on. When you gut the federal workforce, you're not punishing some imaginary deep state. You're punishing citizens who rely on those infrastructures and services. He is hurting the common person. Here goes the irony, right? It's going to get cheered on by people who think the government doesn't affect them. Because you're going to see people on Twitter with the blue check mark saying, this is amazing, this is perfect, this is outstanding. Because they're getting paid by Twitter. That's what's going to happen. These people are getting crazy money from rage bait interactions from people that don't even know what's going on there. That's what's happening there. That's the issue. This is stupid. And oh my God, wait until their food isn't expected. Just wait for that. Wait until they get a disease because their food isn't expected. Or wait until their flight gets delayed because air traffic controllers quit. Or their medication is recalled too late. You'll see how much those overpaid bureaucrats matter. That's the real quiet tragedy of this. By the time the damage is visible, it's too late to reverse. We need to call out the authoritarian flavor here. Trump doesn't just want fewer workers. He wants obedience. He wants to demonstrate that he can make entire agencies bend or break with one executive order. It's a show of force. He's not shrinking government. He's personalizing it. He's saying that the state is me. And if you don't serve me, you don't serve it at all. That's how he felt about the New York, the mayor-elect or whatever's happening there. That's the whole thing. It's stupid. And think about the president, right? If the president can push out this many workers, what's to stop the next one from doing the same? We're creating a cycle where every change in power means purging thousands of workers. That's stupid. Oh, that's really bad. We're ruining the Great America Project with one singular president. One of the very things the U.S. tried to abolish in the 1800s, history is repeating, but this time it's not incompetence we're rewarding, it's loyalty to a strong man. This is horrible. This is dumb. This is dumb. I don't like this. I'm horrified by this. This is happening out in the open. This is some backroom conspiracy. This would be a conspiracy theory back in the day. This is just out in the open. It's announced in press releases, bragged about at rallies. It said this is efficient. We're watching democratic infrastructures be hollowed out in broad daylight, and people are too dumb or too tired or too scared to scream. That's how they win, right? It's not saving money, shrinking waste. It's weakening the backbone of a democratic system, starving agencies of expertise and filling the gaps with loyalists who bend to them. It's about consolidating power by subtraction. If we don't see it for what it is, if we keep pretending that it's normal politics, then we're already losing. We're gonna lose.
I'm your Nick and night, be my Laurel Angelo. Ooh, happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. I love the ride when you're free.